And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show, Tuesday, January 20th. We got a tough one on our hands for the morning, but we'll set the table as best we can. We're actually getting a legit 7-game slate tonight. It's awful right now. This is a fantastic slate for those of you that like to play DFS and want to maximize your value. Today is a great day for it, given the times that these games are taking place. We have a 7 o'clock start for the Suns and the Sixers. Both of these teams don't have an injury report right now. Next up, we don't have another tip-off till 8 o'clock. That's Clippers, Bulls. We don't have a Clippers injury report, back-to-back. We have another 8 o'clock, Spurs, Rockets. No Spurs injury report. Then we have a 9 o'clock. So another hour. We don't have a Jazz injury report. And I shouldn't have to tell you guys how stupid whatever the Jazz are going to do today is going to end up being. Anything's on the table today. John Stockton and Karl Malone might play. But we're not done there. We have 3 games locking at 10 o'clock tonight. Nuggets Lakers, which is a mess. Toronto Golden State, with the Raptors missing dudes. Golden State on a back-to-back after losing Jimmy Butler, probably for the rest of his Golden State career. The most likely scenario is that he never plays here again. And then Miami Sacramento, no injury report for Miami today. Every single game, except for Nuggets Lakers at 10, has at least one piece of a back-to-back. But one game locks at lock. Then you have an hour before 2 more, an hour before 1 more, and an hour before 3 more. This is an exceptional slate for those of you that are ready to use our late swap tool and carry it out for the full stretch till 10 o'clock. This is what we're looking for. And we got a $5 zone contest on DraftKings, which is the softest contest you're going to get in NBA DFS. You're going to get people asleep at the wheel. If we're lucky, we get pure and utter chaos at 10 p.m. tonight, or before 10 p.m. tonight. That is the way we make money today, folks. Late swaps on a monster pseudo injury slate. Now, realistically, all these back-to-back teams could just not have any issues and be normal. Doesn't feel like we're in that part of the NBA calendar that's going to happen. Should probably pour one out for Jimmy Butler here, unless you're cush and dumb. Torn ACL, obviously done for this year. Mostly done for next year, at which point Jimmy Butler will be in the final year. He'll be in a $50 million expiring contract next year. That's the end of Jimmy Butler being even remotely real. That's the end of the Warriors. What do they do now? Do they trade Butler? Draymond? Steph? They need to think about it because they're done. They're done. The Warriors' chances of being anything ever ended last night in Jimmy Butler's knee. Unless they pull a Luka Doncic rabbit out of their hat. Trade Jimmy Butler and whichever Spencer's on the Warriors for some sort of Luka Doncic equivalent. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not retiring anytime in the next 18 months. I can promise you that, Coach Chris. Now, someone will pay him money. He ain't going anywhere. JB ain't leaving money on the table, man. Somebody's going to give him like a 2-year, $50 million extension. They shouldn't, but they will. Yeah, he's taking the loot first. But I promise you, Jimmy Butler will be an NBA player for the next 18 months until that final payment comes in. I mean, if it's me, and you're not going to be surprised because I treat life like a video game, I'm getting on the horn with anybody that wants Steph Curry. Or I'm getting on the horn with Steph Curry and trying to figure out where he wants to play. Look what Portland did for Dame. Yeah, but every team hates Jimmy Butler. No one wants Butler back. He burns down every town he leaves. Not like people love Dame in Portland. Where's Jimmy doing it? No way Steph gets traded. Why? If you're Steph Curry, why would you want to stay? For real. You think Steph Curry's looking at this situation thinking, cool, can't wait to be on the Warriors for the next couple years, round out my career by never playing a meaningful basketball game again? He's still one of like 5 best players in the league offensively. Get him somewhere. Get him somewhere. Imagine Steph goes to Houston. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The contracts don't really work for that one, but the first thing I'm doing if I'm the front office in the Warriors is asking Steph if he still wants to be here. It's different now. It's not like it's just not working. It's over. Butler tearing his AC, it ends all of it. Barring a trade that we don't see coming, that we don't believe. Jay Darby with the super chat. He said, yo, I listen every day, but finally catching live. Appreciate your content and can't wait for the trade deadline show. Should be interesting. You and me both, brother. Coming up soon. Steph to the Bucks. Not happening. Steph for LaMelo. I mean, they could have had him already. Instead, they wanted James Wiseman. Let's not forget, in that mock draft, I gave him Denny Avdia. Looking pretty prescient right now. Just saying. But yeah, if I'm Steph, I want out. Get me out. Get me somewhere where I can win a title. Like, he's obviously not going to want to do this and the salaries won't work, but you don't think Steph Curry would look pretty damn tasty on the Detroit Pistons right now? For real. They win the East. Probably doesn't cost as much as Lauri Markkanen. Just saying. He's never going to go to Detroit, so we don't have to care about that. No one goes there on purpose. But yeah, like, he's not going to go to Cleveland, but what if the Cavs offered up like Darius Garland and something else? And I don't think the defense works in that scenario with like him and Mitchell, but just saying. Sure. Miami, plenty of salaries. Khalil Ware and Tyler Hero, something like that. Do it. Can you get him to Minnesota? I don't know. Curry to Denver. Yeah, I mean, I love it. Oh, Aaron Campbell. Kudos. Hope you guys saw the 3-pick prize picks card I dropped for the 1 o'clock game yesterday. If you did, you went 3-0. I wanted to drop more yesterday, and I just got down a rabbit hole building some stuff out. Obviously, like, I know we're 15 minutes in or whatever. I'm dragging my heels a little bit breaking down this slate because it's basically impossible. Hero Rozier and Ware works. The problem is they don't know if they can trade Terry Rozier right now. Undetermined whether Terry Rozier is in fact tradable. So I don't want to hypothesize what his contract, because I don't know if they can do it. It's about legacy for Steph now. He's the anti-LeBron. He's won everything possible. He could ride off into the sunset. Yeah, that's not the way winners think. Do you think that's the way Steph Curry wakes up today? Oh, I'm going to ride off into the sunset. No. That dude wants to win an NBA title right now. He ain't riding off into shit. Now, I don't think that he's going to be like, yeah, trade me from Golden State, but no, he's not looking to ride off into the sunset. He's like the third best offensive player in basketball this year. He doesn't have to ride off into anything. Apologies. Fourth best offensive EPM on the season at 37 years old. Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Steph. Better than every other player in the league this year, offensively. Look, I'm not saying it's going to look great for Steph moving forward. But if I wake up today and I'm Steph Curry, today's the first day you've thought about not being on the Warriors in a decade. Because it's the first time we've had no path forward. Steph on the Celtics, no. Terrible fit. I mean, obviously, like, get it done if he can, but they can't. We know the teams that should look at somebody like Steph Curry. The Rockets are obviously a fit. The Cavs, the Wolves. I mean, if I'm the Spurs, I do it in a nanosecond trying to get off of De'Aaron Fox and then just let Steph age out while the young guys come in. But I don't think that's going to happen. They should do that immediately if they could. The Pistons would be exceptional. The Heat are certainly interesting. Obviously, Charlotte will always be a conversation point like this. They wouldn't do it. Why you guys ignore Portland? They're Portland? Why would anyone go there? Certainly, why would a 37-year-old Steph Curry go there? I'd love it on the Nuggets, but it won't happen. Mavs would be useless. And the rest of those teams at the bottom would be useless. Any scenario where Steph and Draymond get traded together? No. Too much salary. I mean, they could both get traded, but that's like fucking $90 million or something. That's just too much money. Blazers have a better roster than most teams and young. Sorta. If they had a better roster than most teams, I think they'd be better than 22nd in net rating and 22 and 22. They're already sitting on a stupid Dame Lillard contract. They are already sitting on a stupid Drew Holiday contract. They're already sitting on a stupid Jeremy Grant contract. And they started this season with a coach that is 86th from the league. And we have no idea if Thiago Splitter is going to be their anything moving forward. Look, I like Portland as much as the next guy, but no one wants to go there right now. I wish the Magic were more interesting in this scenario. Unfortunately, they're not. All right, let's take a lap through this bad boy. We'll set the table for what we have today. Because we have the full bag. It's not like we have to talk about this slate differently, which helps. Suns Sixers is the first game up. And we have absolutely no idea who's playing for either one of these. Klingon will average 15 and 17. He will never, ever, 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 ever do that. But sure. Literally never going to happen. So yesterday, for the Suns, beat Brooklyn. No Jalen Green. It was up in the air whether or not he was going to be back for yesterday. Seems like he's going to play today. Certainly not going to play a lot. He's played like 5 games or whatever the hell it's been so far this season. So he's just going to be relatively limited. I think everybody kind of just trims some minutes. Is it possible that somebody sits here for Phoenix? Absolutely. Do I have any feel for that? No. Now, with this being the 7 o'clock game, whatever's happening here, we're going to get it long before lock. So that's the least concerning thing. I would expect to see Jalen Green be on the injury report questionable. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Devin Booker on there as well, considering he was questionable for most of yesterday. On the back end, I think he's just questionable by default. After that, not so much. If I'm Steph, I go to Charlotte. Yeah, that's a terrible idea. I would imagine the only way that he wants to go to Charlotte is if he knows he's cooked. But if I'm Steph, there's a 0% chance that I would want to go to the Charlotte Hornets. He does that for like the last year of his career when he can't do a damn thing. If he goes there, he's just going to a team that's never going to succeed. So, Phoenix is one thing. If I'm Steph, I go to the Knicks. Well, the Knicks don't want him, and they're not going to trade for him. So, that won't matter. Because they're not going to trade Jalen Brunson for Steph Curry, nor should they. And, you know, it ends right there. So that didn't take long. The Knicks might be the least likely team to ever trade for Steph Curry. For real. In this moment. So the Sixers. Curry has 0 value at his age. You've never had value in anything, have you? That's crazy. That's so crazy to think about. How much 0 value did Durant have in the offseason? God, we're fucking terrible at this. So Sixers, back-to-back, takes down the Pacers yesterday. Didn't have Paul George. Did have Joel Embiid. Now, I did not expect Embiid to play yesterday. I can confidently say I don't expect Joel Embiid to play today, but I don't totally trust Paul George being in. That could very easily be a Q tag. Assuming we have no Embiid, this is going to look like whatever I said yesterday, where we're going to get some sort of split in center minutes between Adembona and Drummond. Likely 28 to 30 something for Bona, slightly less. You know, the other set for Drummond. Could certainly have somebody else questionable for this one. But for right now, we don't know what's up with Philly. I think it feels safe to assume Embiid is not playing the back-to-back. That one seems impossible to me. So he's just already out of projections. And then I would imagine we get a Paul George Q tag with him ultimately playing. But you never know. But right now, we don't have an injury report for either of these teams. It does happen to be the 7 o'clock game. So we're going to get it one way or the other. Clippers Bulls. So the big piece of information here is Josh Giddey is questionable for the Bulls. He's been out for a couple weeks now. Whether or not he's back is obviously massively important. And if he is, it's going to be tough for the Bulls to look all that good, considering all of their salaries are up because he's been out. Still no Zach Collins. Patrick Williams also questionable. Probably not all that meaningful. This one all comes down to whether or not Josh Giddey plays. So, on the Clippers side, kind of just par for the course. Now, it is not out of the realm of possibility that we just have the exact same team we had yesterday. And we just move forward with it. We're not going to have Kawhi. I assume this looks pretty similar to what we have. As always, someone is live to sit on a back-to-back, but I don't think it's going to matter all that much. Ultimately, I think we're getting what we have for the Clippers, same as yesterday. But I don't think it would be crazy if John Collins doesn't play this back-to-back after having missed 2 games, just came back for this most recent one. And you're always live to see somebody like James Harden catch a Q tag on a day like today. So pay attention. On the Bulls side, it all comes down to whether or not Giddey's in. If he is, I think he moves back to the starting lineup. I think Trey Jones comes out, and that's it. But it all comes down to whether, like, clearly the Giddey piece is a giant swing piece. The other 8 o'clock game, Spurs Rockets. We have no Steven Adams, who looks like he's going to be out for a couple weeks with that ankle sprain. Tari Eason, also on an ankle sprain. He is questionable for today. Now, San Antonio is on the back end of a back-to-back. They had the Jazz yesterday, which is essentially like a walkthrough. Assuming we have everybody just playing, because Wemby played the back-to-back on the 10th and 11th. We have no reason to suspect he won't. We should just have a full-strength San Antonio team here, save for Devin Vassell still being out. But this looks like standard San Antonio, even if we don't have a injury report yet. For Houston, if Tari Eason is back, he's missed the last 5.5 games. He'll step in. Clint Capella, I would imagine, is going to step in and have some sort of backup center role now. I do think that we'll see a lot of like Jabari Smith at the 5 as well. Or we just get, Şengün's minutes, and then 48 minus Şengün becomes Clint Capella. That's also on the table. I don't think either of it matters all that much. But at least for right now, no Steven Adams. If Eason plays, I assume he steps right back into the starting lineup. And there won't be a ton to like here for Houston, obviously. So that gets us through the 8 o'clock games. I'm not even really going to bother with this one. Minnesota, Utah. Naz Reid, questionable. Ant came back on the 17th, dropped the 50 burger. But if Naz Reid plays, this is the exact same team they always are. And if he doesn't, you feel a little bit better about Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle. But we're very used to whatever this Minnesota rotation is going to be. We'll see the status on Naz Reid. I'm not even going to attempt to try to tell you guys who's going to play for the Jazz on the second half of a back-to-back, because I don't have a damn clue. Everybody except for Markkanen played yesterday. Markkanen's played one game in their last 6. Nurkic was sort of on the same path he played yesterday. Is he going to play today? Don't know. Is Markkanen going to play today? Don't know. Is Svi going to play today? Don't know. Is Kevin Love going to play the back-to-back? Don't know. I have no idea. I'm not even, it's not even worth hypothesizing. Something will probably look really good for Utah here. Maybe 2 or 3 somethings. But until we get an injury report, it's not even worth talking about. The Jazz basically have like 2 different active teams at this point. So, I don't know. Pay attention. You'll have the deeper dive and live before lock later tonight to put us on this path. As of right now, trying to guess who's in is basically impossible. So just know the Jazz will be a mess tonight. We don't know what that mess is going to look like just yet, but I promise there's a mess. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Okay, Lakers Nuggets. We actually have both of these teams. They're the only game that doesn't have anybody on the back-to-back. Austin Reeves out for the Lakers. For the Nuggets, still no Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, Joval, Jokic, Gordon, Murray, Tim Hardaway, all in. So, I mean, realistically, we're not waiting on anything for this game. We just kind of know that it exists. You want to play Luka? Yeah, I'd like to hold on to a bunch of Luka Doncic or Jamal Murray or Aaron Gordon. I want to have a lot of this game, even if I don't know what's going on yet, just because it's a 10 o'clock start. I'll be able to move this around however I want. So I am happy to load up on anything from Denver and the Lakers, even if it probably doesn't end up looking all that great to begin with. Toronto and Golden State. It's going to require a slight conversation. Let me take a sip of coffee. All right, Toronto. RJ Barrett still out. Jakob Poeltl still out. Jacoby Walter still out. Colin Murray Boyles also out today. And then on the Warriors end, full stop back-to-back after a Jimmy Butler torn ACL. They're going to look a little different too. So Toronto is likely to start quickly Agbaji, Ingram, Barnes, Mamu. Mamu had been starting previously. They went to Colin Murray Boyles. With no Colin Murray Boyles, it's just I'd be shocked if it's not Mamu. And I'd be shocked if he doesn't get close to 30 minutes. They don't really have anybody else. It's Jonathan Mobo, and then you're probably going small. So they've got some minutes to go around. Quickly came back after missing 2. So he was back for the Lakers game 2 days ago. We're going to have stuff to like here. Mamu's obviously going to be a decent enough value. And then something else, like I'll like Ingram, I'll like Barnes. The spot feels fine. There's some likability for Toronto. For Golden State, boy, is this going to be tricky. So I assume DeAnthony Melton just sat the front end of the back-to-back and he could be in. I didn't project it like that because this is a mess right now. We are not going to have Jimmy Butler, which we know. This is a back-to-back. I am going to assume we don't have Al Horford. Although they could try to step on the gas a bit. But let's assume no Jimmy Butler, no Al Horford. Draymond sat the front end. I assume he's here. Someone else can sit. I think we're going to see Kuminga. Sleeper RJ is same. I just didn't care this morning. Like, it just doesn't matter. I think Kuminga plays because I think he has to. They don't have the size. I think a lot of the reason that Jonathan Kuminga isn't a part of the rotation has more to do with the fact that he just doesn't fit with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Now, he could play 30 minutes today. I'd believe every bit of it. He could not be in the rotation today. And I'd believe every bit of it. So, are we going to get big minutes out of Quentin Post? Could. Are we going to get real minutes out of Trace Jackson Davis? We could. I think Gary Payton is the guy that is like most likely to pick up more minutes because he's the closest thing to Butler defensively. But we need so much information here for Golden State that it's really hard to say. All we know is right now, Jimmy Butler tore his ACL yesterday. He's definitely not playing. Where does Kuminga go trade-wise? Who cares? Like, there's a reason he's on the Warriors. No one cares. No one wants him. He's not any good. Like, there's no market for a guy that's irrelevant. No idea where he ends up. Wherever he ends up, I'll never think about him again, that's for sure. He'll just be some guy that never gets talked about again. The only reason we talk about Jonathan Kuminga is because the Warriors don't play him. If we just trade him to the Pelicans, we could just go back to not caring about him at all. No one loves Kuminga. If any team in the league loved Kuminga, that team would have Jonathan Kuminga. There's not a team out there that loves him, or he'd be there. And if the Kings love Jonathan Kuminga, that should tell you everything you need to know about Jonathan Kuminga, because they're the worst evaluators of talent in the league. Speaking of the Kings, they are the final game of the day. Now, the Miami Heat are on the back end of a back-to-back. For the Kings, there is no Keegan Murray. Tyler Hero is out. He did not play yesterday. He's not going to, or the game before that, he's not going to be playing here. We did get some really weird minutes yesterday. Very limited out of Drew Smith and Nikola Jovic. They went back to Fontecchio. Now, granted, they got beat by 23, so some of this is blowout related, but they did allow Fontecchio to soak up a little bit of extra time. We'll see what that means long term. Could somebody be out today? Absolutely. Does Norm Powell sit this back-to-back? Could. Does Andrew Wiggins sit this back-to-back? Could. Are we going to know? I don't know. We'll get an injury report later. The Kings piece, I guess, is sort of easy. Sabonis is back, played 21 and 20 minutes over the last two. Whether or not he starts, don't know yet. Probably going to be close to a split between him and Reynaud. Otherwise, they're back to not playing Keon Ellis. They are playing Malik Monk. Kudos. Schroeder back after slapping Luka. Cool. But we're sitting on a slate that needs an injury report from the Suns, the Sixers, the Clippers, the Spurs, the Jazz, the Warriors, and the Heat. Gonna be a mess here, folks. Gonna be a mess. But don't forget, if you want to make your life as easy as possible on a day like today that is set up so perfectly for late swap, click the link in the description of this video and sign up through one of our partners. Whether it's a sportsbook or a pick'em site, you can get a month of Sims for free. And if you sign up for more than one partner, you can get more than 1 month for free. Sign up for 3 partners, get 3 months of Sims. That's Data Hub, Single Lineup Sim, Contest Generator, Real Sims, Post-Contest Sims. Across the board, you get it all for a month. And realistically, all you have to do is sign up at a sports book for $25, make a deposit, they give you a bonus, and then you get the Sims for free. Don't miss out on it, because a day like today pays for its worth. The fact that you have these late swaps at your fingertips, especially in a contest with 70,000 entries on DraftKings, a large majority of those people are not late swapping properly. There's nothing you can do in your lineup construction that will be more valuable than late swapping with our late swap tool tonight. That's 100% true. Especially if we get news. Because you're leaving all that edge on the table. Doesn't get any easier. You click the link in the description. You could sign up and be here today at 0 cost. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. Schedule for the rest of the day. Very simple. NFL Strategy Show coming up next. Laffy and Ben. Not a lot of NFL left, but they will break it down. And I would imagine you'll get some of Ben's thoughts on the college football title game from last night. NHL Strategy Show coming up at 1:30. I will be live with Spags at 5. And you'll get Eric and Greg for Live Before Lock at 6 p.m. My recommendation for right now, try to get as much as you can out of those 10 o'clock games and swap it around as we go. For now, I don't think I have anything else. It's tough to set the table here. As we get news, I'll try to drop some updates, see if we can get some prize picks cards out for later today. But this is where we stand. On a very difficult, but very fun Tuesday slate. We got a good one today. We're lucky. They gave us garbage yesterday. They gave us something real today. So take advantage. I wish I had more to say. I think we've hit this slate as perfectly as we can. So hit that like button on your way out the door. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. And follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Good luck, folks. Enjoy this day. I'll see you at 5, where we'll actually have some information that we can break down. Peace.